What is going on? Welcome back to Financial Journey. So today I want to talk to you about an over-the-counter stock that is ready to make some pretty big moves. So I want to break it down what this company actually does and why a lot of individuals should really be watching this. So I'm going to go over all the stuff you need to know. Make sure you guys hit that thumbs up and subscribe. Always greatly appreciated. With that, let's get right to it. So as you can see, Southern ITS International, ticker is SITS. This is a over-the-counter stock, like I mentioned. And when it comes down to over-the-counter stocks, for those of you that do invest in that market, typically you're unable to find any information whatsoever. But just on this website alone, it is very informative. So I'm going to have the link in the description below to their website. So definitely pop over there, take a look at it. Goes over everything that, like I said, that you need to know, such as what they do. So they do acquire innovative companies with a vision to create long-term shareholder value. We invest in companies that have the potential to generate returns through multiple avenues, including but not limited to capital appreciation, increased dividends, and or strategic partnerships. Our focus is on creating a well-diverse global portfolio with a balanced mix of companies across different industries and regions. So once again, that definitely is very good. And keep in mind, the market has been going down, in case you guys haven't noticed. And right now, this is the best time to acquire companies, when they are very much cheap. So keeping in line with exactly what they do, they are able to find these very cheap discounted companies and acquire them. So I'm going to touch on some news as well, just to kind of piggyback off of this and why it's very much beneficial. But moving on, as far as here, like I said, it goes over their investing strategy, our approach. It does have this aspect right here, which is one of their actual subsidiaries. And again, that's a very positive thing, especially with oil. It's been going up, and definitely anyone investing in that is very beneficial. So as you can see, the current holdings right here, and this one is very interesting. So 𝗪𝗧𝗪. So I'm going to really be touching on that as well. And like I said, Pure is listed right here, so the oil and gas component. And so it's really being portrayed very well here. So like I said, in case you guys aren't familiar with over-the-counter stocks, there's several different things that you really need to look at before investing. And one of which is just listed right here, their information. So this information, although it does seem very minuscule and just not really relevant, it does actually play a pretty big part in it. Keep in mind, CE tag, so the caveat emptor, is very bad, plain and simple. So those are the companies that you want to avoid. But companies that are on over-the-counter stock and that have the pink current, that shows that they are up to date with all their financials and they are very transparent. So like I said, if you do have this aspect on their actual website, which is very informative, and also they have this pink current, definitely that gives you the green light to look forward as far as further into the company. My own triaging aspects, at least, that's what I look for in a over-the-counter stock. But like I said, you can see this aspect right here. So it says Shell, a company with no or nominal operations as declared in its SEC filings. But based on December the 9th, it does look like they are ready to remove that Shell status. So typically, when a company is removing their Shell status, it goes to show that they are going to be in the market for acquiring assets. Of course, I'm not a financial advisor, so make sure you guys do your own due diligence. And of course, this might not necessarily result in anything, or potentially it could result in, like I mentioned at the beginning, there's a lot of cheap assets out there that could be very much acquired for discounted prices. So this might be the time to buy when there is a lot of blood. That's what typically a lot of investors say, and it is no different for a company like this. So once again, this might be something that you really need to watch for, because definitely it could be a very big company because of this. On a side note, just want to point this out. The market cap is 6.48 million. So that is very, very small. So companies such as this, when it does do a little bit more of an acquisition or big news, this goes up very, very fast. So again, that's just a little bit more of a side note and potentially a short-term benefit. Aside from this though, I do want to talk on this. So as you can see, 𝗪𝗧𝗡𝗘𝗖𝗧, which is a wholly owned subsidiary of the company. So again, that's a very positive sign in that regard, but they are starting to sell its products on Amazon. So Amazon, I think we already know, any company that can actually sell on Amazon, it reaches a whole different level of market aspect, especially if you do piggyback that off of what I'm going to talk on in 1 second, and that is right here, Kylie Jenner. So anyone associated to the Kardashians, one way or another, I think they are able just to hit a magic button and it sells its product magically. So Kylie Jenner was recently seen wearing 𝗪𝗧𝗡𝗘𝗖𝗧, if I'm saying that like I said correctly, but when it comes down to the Kardashians, anything they touch, anything that they really sell, definitely is a very big aspect, and more so if you do piggyback that off of Amazon. With it being on Amazon, it is a lot more accessible to the general public. So once again, it's getting a lot more eyes on it, and that is exactly what you want to see. So having individuals look at 𝗪𝗡 in that aspect of having, I believe Kylie Jenner has a couple million followers on Instagram. And so having 𝗪𝗡, potentially even having Kylie Jenner as maybe an endorsement or having the face of that, I don't know, at this stage in the game might be a little bit more premature to talk on that. But once again, coming from an investor standpoint, those are the type of things that you need to look forward to, and the possibilities. Even more so when it comes down to a over-the-counter stock. Over-the-counter stocks, of course, are very volatile, and one good piece of news such as this might be the breaking point that just causes it to go massively up, for it to explode. So Kylie Jenner and the Kardashians, anything they touch is generally a very positive thing. And not only that, like I mentioned, Amazon does not hurt the grand scheme of things or the deal. So I think given the circumstances, this is still very, very cheap in comparison to what it should be. So keep in mind, like I said, it is a very good time for companies to acquire other companies because it is very cheap. That can also be said with Southern ITS International. They in reality are still fairly cheap. So keep in mind, 6.48 million as far as a market cap, and based on the news, just let alone what I mentioned, it is pretty at a good discount as well. So once again, coming from an investor standpoint, this is the exact time when you need to buy, when there's a lot of blood in the market. But one thing that seems to be fairly phased or unfazed from the downtrend is oil. So oil has been sometimes devil's advocate. It's been causing a little bit more distress on the overall economy. But for those of you that have actually invested in oil, you are very much happy. So one thing that I just wanted to point out, even though it is a very small market cap company, it does actually have a subsidiary involved in oil and gas. So pure oil and gas, like I mentioned, and also it is listed on their actual website and kind of displayed right here. So once again, that's a very positive thing. And when it comes down to this aspect, it does look like they went into an agreement with ICS Energy, which is a Texas-based oil company. So definitely a lot of moving parts going on with this company. And like I said, I think when it comes down to a investing standpoint, this is at a pretty substantial discount. So when it comes to it, let me know your thoughts on this in the comments below. Companies such as this, you definitely need to watch for, because hypothetically, this could blow up at any time. Because when a company does, like I mentioned, remove that shelf status, it typically is in the business of now acquiring. It wants to acquire a lot more assets. So definitely might be one that you see possibly on the news, or potentially as well, like I said, if anything does develop with Kylie Jenner, you never know. Definitely could play out as a very big investment. So let me know your thoughts on all of this in the comments below. If you haven't already, hit that thumbs up and subscribe. Always greatly appreciated. On a side note, this was also as a sponsored video by a third party. So just obviously, like I said, make sure you guys do your own due diligence. One good thing about this company being a over-the-counter stock, it does seem to be fairly transparent. So I highly recommend you popping over to their website, because it is very informative, has all their current holdings and also their team, news, every aspect that you need to know when it comes down to this company. But like I said, I appreciate you guys all watching, and have a happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and all that fun stuff.